2025 for web developers, your year in review is here, and here's what's new in Baseline newly available. I'm gonna walk you through some of the highlights of some of the new web APIs that became supported on all major browsers. View transitions. You can now create efficient and fast view transitions or animations between two different views on your website. And they are very performant and they just work with CSS and a little bit of JavaScript. Link-rel DNS prefetch. This is a bit funny because this one is very old, but it just became supported on Firefox, and that's why in 2025 it became Baseline newly available, which means this is the year it became supported on all browsers. URL pattern for pattern matching. This is a new API that allows you to match a certain URL or a part of URL against a certain pattern. So just like how you would do it in frameworks, you can get /group/:ID, for example, you can get the ID using this URL pattern. And you can do, of course, a lot more. The popover attribute, which allows you to create an overlay to display content on top of other content on the page. And you can also display it in the top layer, which shows up on top of everything in your page. So goodbye z-index problems. Promise.try. This one is quite specific, but it comes quite in handy if you really need it. It lets you run a function that might throw an error or return a promise. However, you'll be able to always handle it as if it's always returning promise or a rejection. So it turns async errors into rejections. JSON import attributes, and we start with the with JSON. So we can now import a JSON file and use it directly without having to parse it, without having to use fetch. This is quite powerful, and it opens the door to other with attributes in the future once they become supported. However, there's a very good article by Jake Archibald where he discusses some of the caveats that you should take into consideration. If I do a deep dive video about it, then we can talk more about it. The screen wake lock API. This API allows your page to stay running and it prevents it from dimming or prevents the screen from locking. And that's useful for websites that must stay running. For example, you see it in recipe websites, but I also have a video from maybe 5-6 years ago where I was cycling on my bike and recording geolocation, and this is now finally possible. Intel.duration format. This API allows you to format durations in different locales and languages. So for example, you can give it the number of hours, number of minutes and seconds, and it will give you, in English for example, 10 hours, 5 minutes and 10 seconds. I have another 2025 year in review video where we talk about the baseline features that became widely available. Check it out on my channel, and I have a third video where we talk about features that are missing in only one browser engine. And this is a short, so write a comment and let me know for which feature you'd like to see a deep dive.